يعطيكم العافية. السلام عليكم. This is Dr. Ahmad Al Faris. Let me introduce myself. Okay. Now, as we know, that's as most of you know that I graduated from private school, Aruba. That was more than 21 years ago. I have a bachelor in physics. Okay, from Mu'ta University in Jordan. High diploma in education, master in education, and in both of them I was the first in my class. Okay, and I have PhD in education curriculum and teaching methods for teaching what physics. Okay, now as we know that we're going to talk about physics IGCSE paper 0625 or 0972, and what the difference between these two codes. Each code, okay, gives us the variation between the two ways to mark your exam. Between, for example, 0625, it's A star, A, B, okay, etc. But 0972, it's 987, etc. We have two types of papers. We have core paper and extended paper. Okay, what do I mean by core paper and what do I mean by extended paper? Hold on. Wait a moment. Now, what do we mean by core paper and extended paper? Now, as we know that for this code, okay, it's they mark A star, A, and B, etc. For this code, we have 9, 8, 7, etc. Okay, what the difference between these? A little difference in how they evaluated for each Ministry of Education in each country. For example, some countries they ask for A and A star, or they give it highest mark. There are other countries they ask for 9, 8, or etc. Or they don't care. Okay, it doesn't matter. But for example, here in Jordan, they put the A star 100 and the 9 100, but the A it's 95, B is 85. In 8, it's 90, 97 or 98. The 7, sorry, it's 88, etc. So the difference here in the marks. Okay. I don't understand your question. Physics for what grade, please? For 9 and 10th grade. This is the whole code, the whole syllabus. Okay, for the IGCSE externals. Okay, tamam. Now, as you can see, we have to know the syllabus very well and what we are going to do. Okay, we have three papers. We have paper 2, paper 4, and paper 6 for the extended paper. And I prefer that all of you do the extended paper. Okay. And if you are weak, very weak in physics, you can choose the core. Okay, which is paper 1 and 3 and 6, but I prefer that to do the extended papers. As we know that paper 2 is 40 multiple choice questions, okay, and paper 4 it's between 10 to 12 normal questions, essay questions, and paper 6 now it's only 4 alternative to practical questions. Okay, what the difference between them? We are going to talk about that during the course in details, but now it's a free session. So we are going to go directly to measurements and density, the first thing that we are going to study it for the IGCSE syllabus code. Okay, now here, okay, the 40 multiple choice questions, okay, it has 0.45 minutes, okay, and for paper 4, it's 1 hour, 15 minutes, and here in paper 6, it's only 1 hour. As we know that here there is 30% of your mark. So whatever you get, for example, 40 mark out of 40, whatever you get, they multiply it by 1.25 to be, 1.5, I'm sorry, 1.5 to be out of 60 marks. This paper, okay, it's 50% of your mark, okay, and the exam, it's all out of 80 marks. They multiply it by 1.25 to be out of 100 mark, And this paper, it's only 20% because the core people and the extend people, they do it. And the mark is 40 out of 40. They put it out of 40 without change. So if we add these marks, if we add the 60 and the 100 and the 40, it will be out of what? 200 marks. And according to the curve for the whole students in the world, how much, or in your time frame, okay, how much they got out of 200, they put the code, okay, the course according to how much you are in it. Okay, يعني في ناس مثلا بيجيبوا 150, this 150, it's A star for most of the years. Sometimes, like last year, 119 was an A star. Okay, the 2 years ago it was 132, the A star. So it changes according to the number of people that they do the exam, how good they are or how bad. Okay, and how much is your mark according to the total? The easy question: how much should we write? Okay, is it according to the question? Yes, it depends on the question and how many marks on it. Yes. Okay. تمام. هلا بالنسبة للquestions, wait a moment until I give a brief explanation about each of these papers. Okay, so these are the papers: paper 4, paper 6, and paper 2. Paper 4 is the most important paper because it has most of the load. Okay, 50%, which is 100 out of 200. Even if you and doing exam in 30 days. I don't know if you are going to do an October-November session now after 30 days. Good luck for you. Allah يعطيك العافية. Okay, the course for October-November session, it's full. All the courses are full. I can't add anyone to these courses, unfortunately. Okay. Now, also, we have to know the content. Okay, we have 5 topics here. The most important topic is general physics. General physics. Usually they bring a lot of questions about it. Then we have electricity and magnetism. That's the second most important topic that they bring a lot of questions about it. Then we have thermal physics and waves, and one question about nuclear physics in paper 4. Nuclear physics. Okay. تمام. شكرا لك. So these 2 things, okay, 2 topics, general physics and electricity and magnetism, are the most important topics because usually they bring between 6 to 8 questions about only these topics out of how much? Out of 11 questions. Okay, so if we get these 2 topic very understand it very well, okay, and we practice on it, I'm talking about B and above. Okay, you can get B and above from the total mark. Okay, it depends how much you practice, how much you understand, and how much do you answer on it. Okay, now we have to know this, okay, very well. Okay, and don't forget that we have approximately 38 weeks until your external in May, June. Okay, if you said that it's big time, no, it's not big time. The time is Hussam Mansour, if you please do not send me any request. Okay, I will kick you out if you do that again. Shukran لك. Okay, so we know that it's big time, 38 weeks, but actually it's not that big time because you are doing, for example, 5, 6, 7, 8 different subjects. If you are practicing for each subject, for example, you have 8 hours daily to study, not 8 hours, but it's a maximum 8 hours. How do we do that? Because every day it's 24 hours. You spend, for example, 8 hours to sleep, 16 hours left. You spend another 8 hours at school, 8 hours left. Okay, this is the 8 hours. Maybe you need another 2, 3 hours to take lunch or dinner or rest with the family. Okay, 2 or 3 hours. So that means you have between 5 to 8 hours to study daily. That's, I'm talking about school day, okay, not in vacations or the weekend. So هذا الوقت يا دوب يكفيك عشان تحل 2 papers, 2 past papers. تمام؟ شو قصدي بكلمة 2 past papers؟ يعني paper math, paper chemistry, paper physics, paper biology. فإذا احنا حسبنا الأيام هذه قد ايه معك أنت past paper بدك أنت كثير تحل. يعني in my opinion, يعني if you did 8 exams, okay, full exams, that's only to know what they are talking about. Okay, you need in paper 2 to answer at least 10. In paper 6, you need to answer at least also 8. Okay, in paper 4, as much as you can, and I prefer 15 different exams. Okay, so all these papers, okay, and all this knowledge, all the practice that you do in this 38 weeks from now to your external is not enough to do everything. Okay, I want from you to practice and to prepare yourself to do that. ماشي? Okay, so don't get lazy and sleep ولسه معانا كثير وقت. Okay, start from now to do, okay, and to practice and do past paper and try your best. Okay, تمام. طيب خلينا نحكي بعدين عنه. Okay, so you have to put goals, and these goals, okay, you have to put them that you have to put a schedule, how many hours you have to study physics, how many hours you have to study chemistry, biology, etc. تمام. Okay, now I want from you to prepare yourself, bring the worksheet that I just give it to you. Okay, now first topic of that we're going to talk about is measurement, because we know that physics is science of measurements, and we use these measurements to do some calculation to find out some values. Okay, now some definitions are not included in our syllabus, but if they bring a question and they ask you to define a certain word like time, who can tell me what we can define the time? Okay, لانه عندي انا كثير طلاب انا بقدرش اعمل هلا unmute for them، عشان هيك انا الكورس تبعي بالعاده بيكون 15 to 25 students. هدول الطلاب اللي انا بقدر اخليهم يعملوا unmute، اما هلا عندي ما شاء الله فوق ال 100 طالب صاروا عم بيزيد وعم بقل عن 100 طالب. Okay, فif I want to measure what's the meaning of time, it's how long something need to happen. How long something need to happen. Is this in our syllabus? No, it's not, but we can define it like this: how long something needs to happen. Okay, so it is measured usually by something like what? Like a stopwatch. Okay, so if we have a stopwatch or a clock or a timer, okay, we can answer this question. And if you have a question, you can send it to me directly on my number. Okay, this is my number. Okay, after the session I will answer it to you, or in less than 48 hours. بس خلينا هلا نركز على ايش؟ على السيشن وشو الاشياء اللي بدنا ندرسها بعد اذنكم لو سمحتوا. شكرا لكم. Okay, yes, the main unit of time is seconds, so we have to know how to convert minutes into seconds, which is multiplied by 60, or hours, how we can convert it into what? Into seconds multiplied by 60 minutes and multiplied by 60 seconds. So that means I need to convert it in this way. So if I do that, I multiply by 60 twice, that means I multiply by how much? 3600. Yes, شكرا للشباب والصبايا اللي عم بيجاوبوا. So do we write the answers? Yes, okay, yes, you can. Yeah, the worksheet that I send it to you, you can write the answer directly on it. Yes. So these are the most important things about what? About the time. Okay, now as you can see the worksheet here that I send it to you. Okay, okay, it has a lot of things to write, to say. Tamam. Some questions I'm not going to do it now. It's a homework for the student that they are in this course for next time. Other students, okay, they want to join in this session. They can send any question to me or ask me to do how we can register. Okay, so we are going to answer a few questions here. تمام. شوفوا كيف يا شباب. Let's return back here. Okay, so it's very important to know about the time. So for example, this is the second question in this worksheet. Look to this question. Okay, I'll give you less than a minute to send me the answer. Which one is the correct answer? A or B or C or D? Hassan, yes, you can send me. The people that raise their hand, they can send a chat to me directly. Which one is the answer? I will give you less than a minute to read the question and send me the answer. شكرا يا أوبا، في كثير ناس عم بيبعتوا. اهو جميل جميل. شكرا يا عبد الرحمن، يا جنى، يا نضال، يا سلمى، يا احمد. اوكي، في ناس عم بيكتبوا ارقام غلط. اوكي، the answer is A or B or C or D. تمام، شكرا لكم. تمام، عمر. اوكي، محمد. تمام. Okay, so for some students that they didn't give me the correct answer, I will ask them, are you sure about that? Are you sure? The minute is done. تمام. اوكي شو الجواب؟ Look here, we have something called zero error. This instrument, as all instruments, a stopwatch, a ruler, a voltmeter or a meter, even thermometers, they have zero error that didn't start from zero. It starts from 0.5 seconds more. So, and the time here, as you can see, it's 46.5. So that means I'll subtract the values and my answer will be 46, which is what? B. شكرا لكل الشباب والصبايا اللي بعتوا الجواب. Yes, في ناس كتبوا sorry it was C. No, it's not C. It is what? D. تمام. شكرا لكم. رائع جدا. Okay. So one of the mistakes and the errors that students can have it's something called what? Zero error. So the zero error, we have always to check the zero error in any instrument with that when we try to measure something. دائما first check the zero error of the instrument. Okay. Another question. The clock on a public building has a bell that strikes each hour, so the people that cannot see, okay, the clock can know what hour of the day it is. Like Big Ben. هلا البيج بن اللي الناس ما بتعرف. Okay, will we get the question to define zero error? لا, they didn't ask you how to define, then to know it or to calculate or to measure the zero error. Okay, what does the zero error occurs? The zero error, that means the instrument has a problem that it didn't start from zero, like this here. Now this person here that has a wristwatch, okay, look here, at precisely 6 o'clock, okay, the clock strike and strike how many times? 6 times. So if you know that strike 6 times, that means that it's now 6 o'clock. أكثر ساعة مشهورة في العالم اللي هي بيج بن. بيج بن هاي الساعة نفسها الميكانيزم تبعت الساعة موجودة كانت على واحد من بوابات مدينة القدس، الجيش البريطاني أخذها ووداها ركبها على بيج بن. هاي المعلومة طبعا ما بيعترف فيها البريطان، لكن إحنا كناس مسلمين وعرب وفلسطينيين بنعرف هذا الحكي وبنعرف إنه هذا الحكي مزبوط. أوكي تمام. So what they ask. At the first strike of the bell, the man's wristwatch was like this. At this ساعة هون. It's 6 o'clock, 0 minutes, and what? 5 seconds. Here, it's 6 o'clock, 0 minute, and what? 15 seconds. So, at the first strike of the man's wristwatch, okay, was shown in this figure. When the bell strikes the 6th strike, the last strike, okay, it was like this. Calculate the time interval between the first and the 6th strike. I will subtract these values, and it's obvious that it will be 10 seconds. But sometimes they don't give us a clear timing like this. So I have to use the scientific calculator. As we know that we have the values here, the numbers here, and we have a certain button here that has a comma, circle, circle, circle. I will use it to what? To put the time on it. Okay. So yes, shukran. Not 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Yes. Okay, ماشي. It's 10 seconds because here this is hours, this is minutes, and this is seconds. This is hours, this is minutes, and this is seconds. Okay, now calculate the time interval between the one strike to the next strike. How many strikes do we have here? We have 6 strikes. That means this is the first strike, second strike, third, fourth, fifth, sixth strike. How many time intervals do I have here? I have 1 time interval. I will not count the first strike as time interval. 2 time intervals, 3, 4, 5 time intervals. So how much is the time for each time interval? I would say that the time for each time interval is equal to the total time divided by the number of the time intervals. How much is the total time? It's 10 seconds divided by the number as we count them are 5. So the answer is 2 what? This is the answer. Is this correct answer? Is this answer correct? No, it's not correct. What I have to write? Yes, I have to write what? What do I have to write? Yes. I have to write the unit, yes, exactly, which is S, seconds. And also I have to write it as what? 2 significant figures. What do I mean by 2 significant figures? 0.0, 2.0, 2 significant figures. دائما يا شباب لازم ننتبه إنه الأرقام تبعتنا لازم تكون at least 2 significant figures. Okay? تمام؟ Hassan, if you want to ask something, you can send it on the chat. I'll read it, okay? طيب. Now, part C, what they said. At precisely 11 o'clock, the clock started to strike. Calculate the time interval between the first strike and the 11th strike. نعيد مرة ثانية. At 11 o'clock, how many times it strike? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 strikes. That means the time interval, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will not count the first one. So that means the time for the whole 11th strike, it's equal the time for each strike that we just find it out, which is 2 seconds, multiplied by n, which is 10 time intervals, and it will be 2 multiplied by 10. So the answer will be what? 20 seconds. Okay? Yes. تمام. I don't understand part B. Okay, تمام. Actually, طب خلينا نعيد مرة ثانية. Calculate the time interval between one strike to the next strike. How many strikes do we have? We have 6 strikes. First strike, second strike, third strike, fourth strike, fifth, and sixth strike. Now, the first strike, like we are measuring, for example, a pile of wood. Okay, عندي أنا قطع خشب. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 خشبات. أنا ما بعد هذا. بعد خشبة 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, في عندي several lines. The same thing here. I will not measure or count the first one. I will start counting after it. Okay, يعني أنا عندي 6 people, they are entering the room. I'll measure the time between the first one. I'll start the 0 to the 6th one. How much is the time? It's 10 seconds. I'll divide by the number, which is 5. So it will be 2 seconds. Okay, تمام. Okay, تمام. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. Is it clear, this question, or not? I hope that it's clear. If you find it clear, raise your hand. Let me count how many students they understand it. Okay. ما شاء الله عندي 12 16 20. اوكي هاي الرقم عم بزيد، في ناس عم بتزقف، الله يسعدكم، شكرا لكم. تمام. اوكي صار العدد ايش عم بزيد. شكرا للستودنتس اللي رفعوا ايديهم. في ناس explain it again. اخر السيشن خليكم معي. I will explain everything if that you don't understand it again. بس لانه انا عندي timing ولازم امشي ب certain time. Okay. N stands for the number of strikes. طبعا هاي logical formula يعني not mathematical form، مش formula you can find in the book. Formula according to the logic, according to what you understand. Lower your hands if you please. Lower your hands, all of you. Thank you. Let's move on to next thing. Next thing that we are going to measure. You didn't get it? Stay with us to the end of the session. Then ask me what are the things that you didn't understand. I will explain it again. Another thing that we are going to talk about measurement is the length. Also, the length is not included in our syllabus. But what do I mean by the length? Okay, I have to write this information. It's very important. Okay, now how far 2 points are from each other? This is the length. How far 2 points from each other? It's very simple definition. Okay, it's not included in the syllabus. I put X here. That means it's not included. How far 2 points from each other. Now, usually, if I want to measure something, okay, I will use certain instrument to measure. It depends on how long or short it is. So, for example, when I talk about length, we are talking about distance, we are talking about height, we are talking about width, we are talking about how far 2 points from each other. Okay, so we are talking about dimensions. So maybe it has normal distance, maybe it has long distance, maybe it has what? Short distance. So for each of these 3 ideas, okay, long or short, okay, or normal, I will use different instrument to measure how far they are from each other. Yes, exactly. Tamam. So for normal distances, we are going to use measuring meter rule or ruler, normal ruler. Okay, for long distances, we are going to use measuring tape, as some of you told me now. Yes, thank you. Measuring tape, because the measuring tape can start from 3 meters to 500 meters. For short distances, I will use a certain instrument that can measure the thickness of a human hair, okay, which we call it what? Micrometer screw gauge, okay? Now, each of these instruments has different use, okay? And the main unit, as you told me now, it's meter. And we have to know how to convert from centimeter to meter, from millimeter to meter, and from kilometer to meter. هلا في أشياء تانية، okay? هاي الأشياء التانية تاخدوها already بالmath. It's not important for us. Werner caliper, yes, we can use it for short distances, but they didn't ask about it in our syllabus. Okay, they are focused about the micrometer. Okay, so how we can convert from centimeter to meter? The meaning of centi came from the word cent. How many cents in $1? There are 100. So what we will do, I'll divide by 100 to convert from centimeter to what? To meter. Yes, but I will divide not multiply. Okay, because دائما الصغير بقسم والله لما اكبر لا اضربك، بس الكبير بضرب الصغير. Okay, so دائما بدك تنتبه انه دائما احنا يا شباب عندنا okay from centimeter to meter I'll divide by 100 because دائما smaller to convert it to bigger we divide. From millimeter, milli means divided by 1,000, 1,000 of the thing, 1 millimeter, millisecond, millijoule, milligram, whatever. And kilogram, kilojoule, kilowatt, kilonewton. What's the meaning of kilo? It means 1,000, so I'll multiply by how much? By 1,000 to convert it from kilometer to meter. Yes, شكرا للشباب والصبايا اللي عم بيبعتوا لنا الأجوبة. طبعا احنا هلا بنحكي عن meters مش kilograms، مش عن الجرامز، مش الماس. اوكي تمام. Okay, next خلينا نكمل. For example, this question in the worksheet that I just sent it, what they ask, I will give you 1 minute to send me the answer. Okay, I'm waiting for your response. Okay, read the question. Yeah. في ناس بلشوا يبعتوا لي the answer is B, the answer is A. The answer, give me A or B, don't give me number. Yes, okay, شكرا. Yes. في ناس بيغلطوا كثير 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 في غلط. اوكي. 30 seconds. تمام. بي يا حبيبي، مش ضروري تبعت لي 10 يا حسان. بي اوكي، بي لسه عم ببعت لي حسان بي. اوكي حسان الله يرضى عليك ما تبعت لي كثير لانه it seems that خلص لو سمحت هي اخر فرصه لك وطلعك. شكرا لك، يسعدك يا حسان. طيب اوكي time's up. Look here to the question. The diagram shows a thick wall. It has a thickness here. Okay, now this thick wall, okay, tube, a thickness of it is 3 millimeter, and the calibration here it's in centimeter. That means 0.3 centimeter. Okay, what is the internal diameter from inside? Look, they didn't ask about the external diameter from outside, from here to here. Now usually when we have something that like a ball or a lens or a tube, we use 2 set squares, okay, to measure exactly the dimensions from outside. As you can see, it starts from 4 and finish at what? 7.4. So that means that differences from outside diameter is how much? 3.4. نعيد مرة تانية. We use calorimeter measuring square set squares like these المساطر المثلثة عشان نطلع ايش؟ dimensions from where? From outside. But they didn't ask about the external diameter. They asked about the internal diameter. So I have to subtract the thickness from here and subtract the thickness from here. So 3.4 minus 2 thicknesses, and each thickness is 0.3. So the answer is 2.1. Okay, this is May, June 2007, and they repeated in May, June 2011, and they repeated in May, June 2013, and they repeated in May, June 2019. The same question, the same number, the same picture. We have to be careful, okay, to answer. تمام? Okay, ماشي؟ تمام. Okay, يعطيكم العافية. So the answer is A, not B, not C, not D. We have to be focused and to answer this question. Next question, what do we have? The figure below shows how a student use a meter rule to measure height h, the height of wooden blocks. Okay, we have several wooden blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. We need to measure the height of them. The reading is inaccurate because the student practical technique was poor. He did several mistakes. What are the mistakes that he did? Okay, I didn't understand you please. اوكي تمام. طيب في ناس محترمين جدا، فأنا بدي أطلعهم وأعملهم إيش ريبورت. شكرا. يس تمام. أوكي. Yes, we have two mistakes. One mistake is the parallax error. Bravo. He's looking not in the same level, and we have to be at what? At the same level as the block as the height from here. So that's I supposed to be here. And another mistake that, as we know, all mistakes, they all instrument we have to check something called what? Zero error. I told you it didn't start from zero. The zero is not in the same level. So yes, what they said here. Okay, complete the figure below to show how the method to use the meter rule. Okay, to measure the height. I'll put the ruler. Okay, like this. طبعا انتوا دائما اشطر مني. بحط المسطرة زي هيك. ببلش الزيرو in front of it, and I will show them that my eye should be perpendicular view in the same level with the ruler and with the height h. تمام؟ هيك أخذنا علامتين. طبعا هذا سؤال كور. هذا سؤال كور. يعني كثير سمبل. يعني ممكن يجي زيه بيبر 6، ممكن يجي بالمالتيبل تشويس كويشن. اوكي تمام. يس شكرا يا كريم. تمام نكمل هلا. اذا احنا لازم نكون عندنا فيجن، نطلع على الصوره كويس، لازم ننتبه لها، نشوف ايش التريكس الموجوده بهذا السؤال. So use your rule to measure the height marked h okay on the last figure. هلا الناس اللي عملوا print out لانه they have different printers، فبيطلع الهايت هذا بالمسطره. اذا حطيتنا المسطره هون وقسنا قد ايه الديستنس، حيطلع كل واحد معه رقم غير عن الثاني. حيطلع ناس 1.2 1.3 1.5 1.7 حسب قد ايه البرنتر الكواليتي تبعتها والسايز تبع الكاليبريشن للتصوير. لا خلينا نتفق كلياتنا انه يطلع مثلا الهايت هذا بالمسطره طلع 1.5 ايش سنتيمتر. اوكي فاذا هون انا شو بكتب؟ 1.5 سنتيمتر. That's one mark. Okay, the last figure is drawn to a scale. It is 10th of the actual size. شو هي 10th of the actual size؟ يعني 1 over 10. يعني مصغرة ولا مكبرة؟ مصغرة 10 times. هاي الصورة دائما الصورة بتكون ايش؟ لازم تكون مالها مصغرة. تمام؟ فاحنا شو عملنا؟ calculate T, the actual thickness of one block of the wood. خلينا نرجع مرة ثانية. احنا كم بلوك عندنا؟ 1 2 3 4 5 6 blocks, and this is 1.5 is the actual thickness. So thickness of each block is equal the thickness divided by what? The number. How much is the thickness? 1.5 multiplied by 10. احنا حنكبره 10 مرات. Divided by the number. How much is the number? 6. By using the calculator, 15 divided by 6 قد ايه بيطلع الجواب؟ 15 divided by 6 بيطلع 2.5 سنتيمتر each. معقول يا استاذ هذا كور وعليه 4 علامات؟ بيعطوا للكور علامات كثير على اساس ايش؟ يجيبوا علامات النجاح. ومع ذلك unfortunately شكرا يا ساره، ومع ذلك بتلاقي الطلاب ما بيجيبوا العلامه اللي هي سي، اللي هي اعلى علامه اللي هي سي. تمام؟ اوكي نعيد مره ثانيه يا شباب وصبايا. شكرا يا محمد. We will use our ruler to measure the height here. طبعا حسب التصوير تبعكم ممكن يكون bigger printing out او ممكن يكون smaller. احنا قسنا we agree انه يكون 1.5 للجميع. تمام؟ فحكينا 1.5 multiplied by 10 because it's 10th of the actual size. الصورة مصغرة 10 مرات نضربها ب 10. بعدين نقسمها على النمبر of blocks. قد ايه number of blocks حكينا؟ we count them 1 2 3 4 5 6 blocks. فطلع الامور ان شاء الله ايش تمام. اوكي حلو كثير هذا الكلام واضح ان شاء الله دائما يكون ايش واضح. اوكي تمام شكرا لكم. اوكي هلا يعني هذا كثير سهل piece of cake. واضح الاسئله، واضح الامور فيه. هذا بالعاده يكون كور، بيكون part of the question. مو ممكن نكتب القياس انه زي 10 زي المسطره اللي في الرسم. لا ليه؟ لانه طلع هون هاي الرسمه زي ما انت شايف. اول شيء مش مبلش من زيرو. ثاني شيء بيحكي لك انه المسطره مش مضبوطه. third thing اللي هو كثير مهم، بيحكي لك السؤال use your rule to measure. تمام. فاحنا ممكن مسطرتنا هاي عامل another parallax error، انه مش هاي 2 دي، هاي 3 دي، يعني ممكن المسطره قريبه على الكاميرا اللي صورت هاي الصوره. يس، شكرا لسؤالك يا هدى، شكرا لسؤالك يا هدى. يس. طيب تمام. اوكي، خلينا هلا نكمل. هذا كمان سؤال about an instrument. شو بيحكي لنا؟ The figure below shows a part of measuring instrument. State the name of this instrument. What's the name of this instrument? The name of this instrument is what? What's the name of this instrument? Is micrometer. Yes, شكرا لكم، شكرا للشباب والصبايا اللي عم بتجاوبنا. Okay, it's micrometer. طبعا المايكروميتر جهاز حنحكي عنه الحصه الجايه بالتفصيل كيف بيكون شكله، كيف حفرجيكم الفيديو تبعه. احنا عندنا هون two readings، عندنا major reading و minor reading. اوكي، شو الميجر reading؟ طلعوا كاتبين لنا بالمليمتر 0 1 2 2.5. فعشان هيك السؤال بعده record the reading، نكتب له 2.5 plus ايش؟ look this line supposed to be intersect with this scale here. قد ايه الرقم هون بالسكيل؟ 20 21 22 23 24 25. شو بنعمل بهذا ال 23؟ we add it to the hour value، بس شو بنعمل؟ divided by how much؟ divide by 100، لانه it's very accurate measurement. It measured to the 1 millionth of meter، يعني 1000 او 100 of what؟ of ايش؟ of millimeter. That's why it's accurate. فقد ايه بيطلع الريدنج كامل؟ بيطلع 2.73 millimeter. This is the reading shown here. يعني the thickness of the thing that they measured by this micrometer is 2.73. مرة ثانية نعيد. عندنا أنا two readings. عندي major reading اللي هو ببلش بالمليمتر 0 1 2.5. اوكي، وعندي minor reading اللي هو الرقم اللي قبال الخط بالعاده بيكون which is what 23. فشو بنحكي؟ 2.5 plus 0.23، فبيطلع الانسر 2.73. تمام هيك؟ اوكي. now ال 23 هذا بيكون جزء من المايكروميتر. هذا the micrometer screw gauge كل ما لفينا بزيد او بقل نص ايش؟ ملي. فالنص ملي يعني 50 readings. هاي معناته احنا we divided by how much؟ divided by 100. عشان هيك ال 23 divided by 100. يعني لو كان اللاين موجود بمكان ثاني، مثلا كان اللاين هون على هذا الرقم، معناته هذا ايش؟ 29. ف I will add 0.29. بس لا، هذا مش هيك. اوكي طيب. اوكي سيبكم من 29. طيب نيجي على السؤال اللي بعده. Describe how we could find the thickness of a sheet of paper by a magazine. Most of the students they know how to answer it. شو بيحكوا؟ I will use the micrometer and bring a paper and measure the thickness of the paper. هيك you get 1 mark. السؤال هذا عليه 3 marks زي ما انتم شايفين هون. اوكي؟ طب how you can get more accurate؟ شو بدي احكي؟ I will get for example 100 sheet of paper. Then I measure the thickness of these papers. Okay, then I divide the thickness by how much? By 100. هيك I get 2 marks. طب وين المارك الثالثة يا أستاذ؟ Why there's a 3 marks؟ دائما يا شباب، دائما أي instrument they ask you to how to describe it, you have to mention something about zero error. إذا أول شيء first check the zero error. Check the zero error of the micrometer. Micrometer. هاي أول علامة. Then what? Then measure the thickness of 100 sheets. طب أستاذ إذا ما كان بيحكي لي عن paper، بيحكي لي مثلا عن some certain metal sheets مش paper sheets. أوكي، هلا لما يكون metal sheets I will use less number of، يعني بدل 100 بستخدم مثلا 10 أو 15. أوكي، بس because the paper is very thin, not as thin as the metal sheets, so that's why I use that a large amount. Okay, measure the thickness of 100 sheets. Okay, this is the second mark. The third mark, okay, divide this thickness by how much? Divide this thickness by 100. Now, that's how we get the 3 marks. 1, 2, 3 marks in this question. Okay? Tamam? Any question here? Tamam. We should be more specific answer, like I'm already doing the experiment. حسب, because they didn't ask you to do the experiment. They ask about how we can, يعني generally, مش أنت أو أنت. Okay? تمام. Okay, good. نكمل هلا ايش next page شو بيحكينا. We are going to talk about other things that we are going to measure اللي هي ايش اسمها الاريا. هلا what are the areas that they are ask you to know it في ال IGCSE syllabus. بالmath they are going to study a lot, but in the physics only few. For example, the square, how much the area of it, its length times length, so length square. It's the rectangle, which is length multiplied by width. So the area of the rectangle is length multiplied by width. Okay, the triangle, the right angle triangle, okay, that's which is half base height. Maybe they give us the triangle in different shape. Okay, so we have to know the height, we have to know the base. So the formula for both of them, it's base height divided by 2. Yes, شكرا لا yes. شكرا يا محمد. لا yes, okay, yes, شكرا يا كريم. Yes, bravo, it's meter square. The main unit is what? Meter square. We have to know the area of the trapezium or trapezoid. Okay, so A plus B divided by 2 multiplied by the height. Okay, the area it's equal A plus B divided by 2 multiplied by the height. And finally, the circle. And they give us something called diameter of radius, and the area of it is equal pi r square. So these are the shapes that you have to know them in the IGCSE physics syllabus. Okay, the square, the rectangle and the triangle, the trapezium, and what? The circle. And these are the formulas. As you know that because I'm multiplying 2 dimensions, length multiplied by width, so the unit of it is meter square. Now it's important for us to know how to convert from centimeter square to meter square, or millimeter square to meter square, or kilometer square to meter square. How we'll do that? Now we learn now, okay, that centi came from cent. So we know that we have 100 cents in $1. So if I want to convert from centimeter to meter, I'll divide by 100. But here I'm converting from centimeter square to meter square. That means I'll divide by 100 what? Square. The same thing, from millimeter square to meter square, I'll divide it by how much? By 1,000 square, which is a million. 100 square is 10,000. 1,000 square, it's divided by a million. To convert from kilometer square to meter square, I will multiply by how much? By 1,000 what? Square, and etc. Okay? Tamam? Yes, thank you. Yes, bravo يا الحارث. Yes. شكرا مريم. Doctor, is there is a third shape in the equilateral triangle? هلا yes, مش مطلوب منا الايديا، بس مطلوب منا نعرف انه half base what? Half base height, okay? For any triangle, okay? Any extra details they will give it to you in the exam, because it's not a math exam, it's physics exam, okay? تمام? Write these down if you please. الله يرضى عليكم. And let's move on to next thing, the volume. The first definition that they ask you to know in the syllabus, what's the definition of the volume? Who can give me the terminology or the keyword that's define volume? Yes, now, who can tell me? It is what? What's the volume? That the object takes. The what? Okay, the space occupied. Bravo. The space. Shukran. Yes, the space that the object takes. Okay, that's the volume. And whenever the volume is bigger, okay, we said that this big object, but it's not necessary to be heavy object, okay, that the object what takes or occupied. Tamam? And the main unit of it, as we know, it's cubic meter. So it's very important. Oh, mashallah, كلياتكم شباب بعتوا لي definition. شكرا. Yes, cubic meter. And we have to know how to convert from centimeter cube to meter cube, or from millimeter cube, cubic millimeter to cubic meter. Okay, so yeah, we know that the volume equal length for, hold on, yes, thank you, Yasin, طول back. Okay, so from millimeter cube to meter cube, okay, what we are going to do, we are going to divide by 1,000 cube, which is a billion. From centimeter cube to meter cube, we have to divide it by 100 cube, which is what? A million. So it depends, okay, about what, how much information do we have, okay, tamam, and how much is the object. Now, usually we have regular objects or irregular objects. For regular object in math, you are going to study a lot of formulas to find the volume of several shapes. But in physics, we have two shapes only. The block, okay, and as you know, that any block, we have the length, we have the width, and we have the thickness or the height. So the volume of it is length multiplied by width multiplied by height. And the second shape is the disk or the cylinder. Okay, so for example, if this is the cylinder or the disk, okay, we have the radius or we have the area, the base area. So the volume equal base area multiplied by the height, this is the height, or the volume equal the base area, which is the circle, so pi r square multiplied by the height. These are the two formulas that you have to know about the regular shapes volume. Okay, شكرا يا كريم، يسلموا ايديك، يسلموا ايديك يا شباب اللي بيبعت لنا قاعد الاجر. تمام؟ Okay, now that's for regular. But for irregular shapes, it depends on the state of matter that we are talking about. If we are talking about gases, it have the same volume as the container. For example, how much air in this room depends on the size of the room. How much air in the perfume bottle, how much the size of the perfume bottle. Okay, for liquid, we're going to use what? Something called measuring cylinder. Now, can I hold the measuring cylinder by my hand like this? Okay, and take the reading of it? Can I hold it like this? Can I look by my eye like this? If it's filled with liquid? Of course not. This is wrong. First of all, I have to put it where? On a horizontal bench. Yes, I have to put it where? Can I repeat the volume of the cylinder? Yes, the volume of cylinder equal base area multiplied by height. Base area multiplied by height. The base area, it's pi r square multiplied by what? Multiplied by the height. Okay, so these are the formulas that for the volumes that we have to know it for a box or parallelogram or for a cylinder or a disk. Okay, tamam. Okay, so to know how much is the volume for any liquid, I have to use measuring cylinder. I have to put the liquid inside it. Okay, for example, the liquid, as you know, it's concave in this direction. So if this is filled with liquid, I have to put it vertical. My eye supposed to be in the same level, okay? And I read from where? From the bottom of meniscus. This is my eye to avoid parallax error. So first step, put it vertically. How I put it vertically? On horizontal bench. On horizontal bench. Okay. That's first step. Second step, I in the same level, as the liquid surface. That's the second point. Third point, reading from the base of meniscus, the bottom of meniscus, unless we are talking about mercury, the mercury concave in the opposite direction. If we have mercury, the mercury concave like this, so we are going to read from the top of it, okay? Reading from the bottom of meniscus, from the bottom of the meniscus. Okay, تمام. Within the liquid will be curved instead of a flat. Yani, yes, most of the liquid they will be curved. That's why I told you I will take the reading from where? From the bottom. Okay, most of the liquid, if you have measuring cylinder, it seems that we have two levels. Okay, level here and level here. Take the bottom one, except if it's If it's mercury, take the top one, okay? That's for liquid. Next, what about what? Solid. In solid, we are going to do as Archimedes did, okay, 2,000 years ago. Archimedes did this and find how we can find the volume of the crown, if you know the story, okay? And he said his famous word, eureka, eureka. So what we will do, we bring the measuring cylinder, okay, half full with oil or with liquid, okay, and take its volume, V1. Then we put the irregular solid object inside it, okay? For example, it was a stone or any piece of object, okay? So what will happen to the liquid level here? It will rises, okay, a little bit, like this. So we'll take the new reading, V2, and we subtract exactly both the readings to find how much is the volume of this object. So by using a measuring cylinder, half full of water, and measure its volume, that's V1. Then merge the object in and take the new volume, that's V2. Then what? Then subtract volume of the stone or volume of the object, Vs, equal V2 minus what? V1. Okay? تمام؟ شكرا يا الحارث. Yes, جوابك رائع. Yes, شكرا لك. Exactly. So again, يا شباب, we have to know the steps of doing that. We have to know how to write it in common sense language, تكون simple عشان ناخذ العلامات, and we have to tell them that we understand V1 and V2. If you withdraw, okay, if we draw that help us a lot to get the marks. دائما حاولوا explanation تكون في sketching جنبيه, okay, drawing as accurate as possible. دائما احنا نعمل sketching not a drawing, okay? You are welcome. شكرا يا محمد. شكرا يا آلاء. تمام. Okay. I can explain it again. Look here. We have a measuring cylinder. We put some water inside it. Okay, we take the reading, V1. Then we put the stone inside this measuring cylinder with the liquid to be completely merged. Okay, then we'll take the new reading. The water rises a little bit. Okay, tamam. So as the liquid rises or the water rises, we'll take the new volume V2. For example, if this one it was 50 and this one was 65, the volume, that means the volume of the stone inside it will be the difference. 65 minus 50, which is what? 50. تمام يا مروان? Is it okay? تمام. الشباب والصبايا رافعين ايديهم لو سمحتوا نزلوا ايديكم. Okay, if you please. Yes. Meniscus. M-E-N-I-S-C-U-S. Meniscus. Okay, this is the last word. Okay. تمام. Let's see this question. I will give you less than 1 minute to answer it. Send me the answer. Okay, yeah. We have a measuring cylinder, contains some water. We put a stone inside the water. What will be the volume of the stone? Yeah, send me the answers. Be careful. Abdul Rahman, check your answer again. Marwan, check your answer again. Yes, give me the answer, A or B or C or D. It's much easier. شكرا يا محمد لبيب. شكرا. أحمد وليد تأكد. Check your answer again. في ناس عم بيبعتوا لي فمش عم بلحق أقرأ الأرقام لأن عندي 100 طالب عم بيبعتوا كثير. أوكي حنين. Check your answer. أوكي برافو. إبراهيم برافو. ياسين شو ليش من وين جبت هذا الرقم؟ أحمد ليفي. أوكي في غلط يا أحمد. محمد حسني شو هذا الجواب؟ أوكي هدى شكرا يا هدى برافو. أوكي تمام. شادي شكرا، كريم شكرا، برافو، فرح أحمد لا عيني عليك وشكرا. خلاص time up. So the answer is A. How do we know that? Now look here. This is 50, this is 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, because we have five division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the difference, it's 100 minus 50, which is 50, divided by 5 divisions. That means each division is 10. But here the answer, our answer, it's exactly in the middle, between 70 and 80. So it will be 75. That's the liquid before we merge the stone. And the volume here, it's 100, 110, 120, 125. So the difference, 125 minus 75, it's our answer, which is A. شكرا لكل الشباب والصبايا اللي بعتونا الكوريكت انسر. الله يسعدكم، برافو عليك وشكرا يا ياسين. هي ياسين عم بيعطيني التفاصيل. عبد الرحمن شكرا لك. اوكي تمام. Let's move on to the next question here. What do we have? Okay, look here. The figure below shows the top part of measuring cylinder. Question number 27 in the worksheet. طبعا في كتير أسئلة ما حليناها. هاي homework for next time للشباب اللي معنا بالكورس. Okay, واللي حابب يسجل معنا. Okay. The figure below shows the top part of measuring cylinder containing some liquid. كيف تبعت لي الهومورك؟ تبعت لي إياه على الواتساب. اوكي، الجروب الواتساب، تصور الصور او تبعت لي الطريقه بتلاقيها مناسبه. يمكن تجاوب على نفس الموبايل او نفس اللابتوب نفس البي دي اف وتبعت لي اياه مره ثانيه، ما عندي مشكله. تمام. Can I explain it again? No problem. I will explain it again. اوكي مره ثانيه. Here the reading is 75 and here the reading after we merge the stone is 125 because each division it's 10, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, so it's in the middle, so 75, and here 125. We subtract the values, and the answer is how much? 50. Okay? In homework, all the questions that we didn't do it, all the questions that we didn't do it until question 27, it's a homework. Okay? وحلسها معنا كمان نص ساعة. حنبلش هدول الهومورك for Monday. يعني احنا عندنا each Monday and Wednesday we have a session. Okay? The figure below shows how the top part of measuring cylinder contains some liquid. What is the volume of this? يلا مين يعطيني how much is the volume of the liquid inside the measuring cylinder? Exactly. شكرا يا سلمى، شكرا يا جنى. تمام، برافو. مين كمان يبعث لي جواب؟ Yes، شكرا يا آدم. It's 96 cubic centimeter because 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 7, 8, 9, and 100. So yes, it's 96 cubic centimeter. Then what they ask? Here they said that the figure beside indicate 4 ways to observe. Which way is the correct one? Is it right up or right down? Is it left up or left down? Send me the answer. Which position from these 4 positions, if I want to call it A, B, C, D, which the correct position that we have to see? Is it A or B or C or D? Send me the answer. Now, yes. Okay. Send me the answer. تمام. تمام. في ناس بيبعتوا لي A, it's not correct. A, it's not correct. Be careful. A, it's impossible. He did a parallax error here. This is a parallax error. The answer is C. Yes, only circle the answer. The figure beside indicate 4 ways to observe. Okay. Put a circle around the eye that gives the correct position with the correct reading. And the answer is C. In the same level, reading from the bottom of meniscus, not from the top. Okay. Tamam. Why? Because C is perpendicular view and in the same level and from the bottom, not from the top. Yes, I just mentioned it. Yes, shukran لكم. Now look to this question. Focus. In order to fill this measuring cylinder, which already contains how much? 96 centimeter cube. In order to fill this measuring cylinder up to how much? To 100 centimeter cube, we add how much? 80 drops. 80 drops of liquid are added to the liquid already inside. Okay. Calculate the volume for 1 drop. Why it's not B? Because it's from the top of the meniscus, not from the bottom. The bottom of the meniscus is the correct answer, دائما, except if it was mercury. If it was mercury, from the top. Okay. تمام. Okay, Muhammad. تمام. How we can answer this question? لا, you have to be careful. iPhone. مش عارف كيف مسمي حالك iPhone. Okay. Now the volume for each drop is equal to the volume that we added divided by the number. What did you do? You divided ايش 100 divided by 4 ما بزبط عشان يطلع 20 ولا هذا. الvolume that we added how much from 100 to 96 divided by the number which is what 80 drops. دائما لما انا اجي احكي عندنا 4 اشخاص وزعت بيناتهم 80 دينار بحكي 80 على 4 بس انا عندي 4 دنانير بدي اوزعهم على 80 شخص فبحكي 84 اوكي. دائما الفوليوم divided by a number اوكي او الماني divided by a number, so it will be 4 divided by 80 مش 80 divided by 4, so the volume of each drop 0.050 centimeter watt cube. If the volume is 20 تقريبا هالقد 20 هالقد ال 1 drop, imagine how big it's very big 20 centimeter cube. فعشان هيك 0.05. دائما لما الواحد يطلع الجواب بده ايش ينتبه, is this answer logical or not logical. واحد مره جاء كان في سؤال how much is the mass for IGCSE student, طلع الماس for IGCSE student 10 كيلوغرام. معقول baby IGCSE student؟ no, it's not baby. ولا واحد يطلع لي mass of the car 12,000 كيلوغرام. الماس للكار 12,000 يا دوب maximum car 12,000 اوكي او 3,000 اذا كانت سياره كبيره 4x4. so we have to be careful and logical about the values that we have it in our answer. okay تمام. okay yes you did this, you divide 80 by 4 not 4 by 8. yes شكرا لك. okay تمام clear. that's question number what 27 in this worksheet. تمام please what انا الكثير في عم بوصلني تشات فمش عم بلحق اقرا شو اللي بصير. question C yes again they said that we need to fill it from 96 to how much to 100. they add 80 drops. how much the volume for each drop? now what we said, what we have to say, that the volume for each drop is equal the volume added divided by the number of the drops. how much the volume added? it was 96 and becomes 100, so 100 minus 96 divided by the number of the drops. how many drops do we have? we have 80, so it will be by using calculator 4 over 80, so the answer is 0.05 0.50 0.050 cubic centimeter. yes exactly. displacement we can use it حسب السؤال. yes دائما يكون الانسر two significant figure. as you can see I add a 0 after the 5. هلا مرات ما بتكون علامه زياده على ال significant figure. مرات الجواب اذا كان 0.05 accepted بس مرات ما بيكون. مرات لا you have to put another 0 for accepted answer, so we have to be careful. okay in my calculator معناته انت ناسي تحط كمان 0. 4 divided by 80 مش 4 divided by 8. تمام. okay نكمل. okay now another definition that we have to know it. what's the definition of mass? لما احط تك زي هيك معناته we have to know the definition of it. who can tell me what the definition of mass? شكرا في ناس بلشوا يبعثوا لي. جنى وفي ادهم. yes the amount of matter in the object. صح. the word keyword is matter. شكرا. لا it's not the weight of the object. no, the weight is something else. the amount of matter in an object. any object يا شباب عنده protons, neutrons, molecules, atoms. احنا عندنا دهون وعضلات وكرشات وهيك وواحد ناصح ما شاء الله مربرب. اوكي هذا اسمه matter. whenever there is more matter you have more mass. okay and it is measured by balance scale. don't say balance only. balance scale or top pan balance or two pans balance. okay so the idea it's we have to say a scale. okay and the main unit is it's in kilograms. yes the main unit it's in kilograms, and we have to know how to convert from grams to kilograms and how to convert tons to kilograms. now to convert from grams to kilograms you will divide it by how much? yes thank you, you divide by 1,000. yeah for example if I have 1,000 gram that means 1 kilogram. if we have 200 grams, that means 0.2 kilogram, okay? And to convert from tons to kilograms, we have to multiply by how much? Multiply by 1,000, okay? ماشي يا شباب? So this is the mass, and we have a lot of questions in the worksheet that I send it to you. You can answer it, okay? Tamam, and later on we are going to check your answer. Tamam, that's about the mass. The other thing that some of you told me, it's the weight of the object. No, the weight is something else. Now, your mass or the table mass or the phone mass doesn't change unless you make a diet, okay? But your weight change according to the position. According to what? To the position. So whenever we have different position on the moon, on the Mars, in the space, on another planets, okay, we have different weight because the gravitational force act on us from that planet changes. So what is the weight? The gravitational force pulling the object down. Pulling the object down. And the weight, it is measured, yes, according to the planet, okay? And now we are going to say that. And the main, and we have something called a Newton scale. It measures the weight because it's in Newton. A Newton scale, or force meter, or spring balance. تمام، شكرا لكم ان نبهتوني، يسعدكم يا رب. اوكي، كان في مشكله في النت وتحلت الحمد لله. اوكي، خلينا نرجع مره ثانيه. The weight is the gravitational force pulling the object where down, and it can be measured by several instruments. Okay, like what? Like a Newton scale, like a force meter, like spring balance, that the extension make the force. Okay, as we are going to study in Hooke's law. تمام. Okay. Now it is measured by Newton, and the formula for the relationship between weight and gravity and mass, weight equal m multiplied by g, and g changes according to the planet. And the gravity acceleration here on Earth, it's 10 meters per second what square, and the mass, it's supposed to be in kilograms, and the weight, it will be in what? In Newton. That means our weight changes according to the position. Yes, in Hooke's law. Yes, شكرا للحال. So, for example, on Moon, it's 1.7, the gravitational acceleration. On Mars, it's approximately 7. On Jupiter, it's 25. In Saturn, it's less than 1.8. I don't know. I'm not sure about the value. So each planet has different value of gravitational field and gravity acceleration. Okay, so that means our mass doesn't change, remains constant, but our weight change according to the position. Exactly. Now in our IGCSE syllabus, it's 10 meters per second square, not 9.81. Okay, we have to know about that. Okay, for AL and Dixer or Cambridge or AS or M1, the different values. Exactly. تمام. Force meter or spring balance or Newton scale. Okay, تمام. Now another thing, after we understand the measurements, we have to understand something called density. دائما يا شباب, density is included in our syllabus. دائما when I said about density باجي بسأل حزيرة للشباب والصبايا، واغلب هذا الجيل بيعرف هاي الحزيرة. هنسألها، أكيد أغلبكم حيعرف لي الجواب، حيبعت لي هلا الأنسر. I want from you to send me the answer. Which one is heavier? 1 kilogram of iron or 1 kilogram of cotton? Which one is heavier? 1 kilogram of iron or 1 kilogram of cotton. Some of send me iron, some send me cotton, some send me they are both same. Yes, they are both the same because I'm talking about 1 kilogram, 1 kilogram. But 1 kilogram of iron they have small size. While 1 kilogram of cotton, it has big size because they have different what? Density. So what's the meaning of density? Density is how much the molecules are close to each other. So it's mass per unit volume. So whenever the object has more mass in a smaller volume, it will have greater density. Who can give me examples for materials that they have high density? What are the elements that you know it that have high density? Give me examples. Send me examples. Oil, no. Oil doesn't have high density. Oil has low density. Yes, mercury. Honey, you are my honey. Honey doesn't have high density. Okay, gold, copper, bravo. Iron, petrol, no. Petrol, no. Okay, iron, yes. Yes, exactly. Okay, what else? Now, most of metals, exactly. Thank you, Karim. Most of metals, they have high density. Non-metals, they have average density. Okay, oil and petrol and water, okay, and liquids, they have average density. Now, who can give me examples for something that have what? Very low density, like what? What? Who can tell me who has a very low density? Yes. Who can tell me? Elements, yes, gases, exactly. Very low density like gases, hydrogen, helium, oxygen. These gases, they have what? Low density. That's why they go up. Yes, thank you, thank you. شكرا لكم. طيب, أعطيكم معلومة غريبة هلا. Who knows what is the most dense thing in the universe? هاي معلومة هيك برا. It's not in the syllabus of the IGCSE. What is the most dense object that we have it, okay, in the universe? No, not diamond, not uranium, not lava. No, your blood, أكيد. Yes. Carbon has high density. Carbon has different density according to the type of diamond or carbon or graphene, graphite. قربتوا. في ناس بلش يحكوا لي stars or sun. Yes. Actually, black holes. Black holes, they have the highest density. Okay. عشان هيك it absorb a lot of what? A lot of energy, even light cannot escape from it. Not a problem. Okay, so density from the formula, density, they use letter rho to represent it, equal mass over volume. So, as we can see, this is the formula for density. It's the division ratio between mass over volume. And the mass, as we know, it can be in grams or it can be in what? Kilograms. And the same thing for the volume. The volume can be in cubic centimeter, or this rho is a Greek letter rho or P like this. Okay, this they use it to represent density. Okay, so rho density or capital D, doesn't matter. Okay, capital D. Okay, equal mass over volume. The mass in grams or kilograms, the volume in cubic meter or cubic centimeter. So that leads us that we have two units for density. The main unit of density is kilogram per cubic meter. But we have another unit, which is what? Which is gram per centimeter cube. Now, who can tell me which unit is bigger? Is it gram per centimeter cube bigger or kilogram per cubic meter is bigger? Okay, some said kilograms, some say same, some said okay. Tamam, tamam. Okay, okay. Now listen to me. Listen to me carefully. Look here. Actually, each each 1 gram per cubic centimeter, it's bigger than kilogram per centimeter cube by 1,000 times. كيف يا أستاذ? How come this? Look here. If I want to convert 1 gram divided by 1 centimeter cube, if I want to convert it into kilogram, what I will do? 1 divided by 1,000, right? If I want to convert from centimeter cube to meter cube, I'll divide it by how much? By 100 cube, right? Use the calculator, right? 1 divided by 1,000 over 1 divided by a million, which is 100 cube, and the answer will be 1000. يا شباب, in 1 centimeter cube, this size, look to me, look, turn on the camera on me. In 1 gram of water, this size, this is 1 centimeter cube, this is 1 gram of water. But the tank of water above, the main tank above your building, above your house, okay, it's 1000 kilogram. If it's 1 meter, if it's 2 meters, 2000 kilograms. So it's a huge. That means what? It doesn't matter how big is the word that you mentioned, kilogram or meter cube. It depends on logically the ratio between gram per centimeter cube and kilogram per meter cube. So 1 gram per centimeter cube, it's bigger and equal to water by 1000 kilogram each meter cube. Okay, good. تمام. هلا مش موضوعنا احنا الكونفرتنج لانه مرات بيجي سؤال how to convert, مرات ما بيجي السؤال. You have to know that. Okay, مش مشكلة. هاي البوينت they will not ask about it, but you have to know how to convert. Okay, if they ask you to convert gram to centimeter cube or kilogram to centimeter cube, they give you values and we are going to answer some questions to show how to do that. Okay, تمام. في ناس بعتوا لي I don't know, I don't get it. No problem about this one. Okay. Now, how can we find the density of liquids? Doctor, why in physics paper many lines and the question are small, maybe okay, خلينا نشوف. هلا it doesn't matter how many lines they put in the exam لأنه في ناس بيحبوا يكتبوا كتير، في ناس خطهم كبير. المهم to get the target directly to answer the question. Now, how we can find the density of liquid? Who can tell me how can we find the density of liquid? What do we need? We need to measure the mass and measure what? The volume for the liquid. فبنجيب البالانس scale and we put the measuring cylinder above it when it's empty. Okay, this is empty measuring cylinder. And we find how much the mass of it, M1. Then we put some liquid inside the measuring cylinder. And we know how much the volume of it. This is water or liquid. This is M2, the mass increases. And we'll get the volume of it by the measuring cylinder. So again, if I want to find how much is the density of any liquid, I bring the measuring cylinder, I measure its mass when it's empty, okay? Then put the liquid that I want in the empty measuring cylinder to find the new mass and to measure the volume. Then what I will say, density equal M2 minus M1 divided by what? Divided by volume, okay? Tamam? Yes, find the volume and divide mass over the volume. Exactly. So how we are going to say to write it down? First, measure the mass of empty beaker. Or empty measuring cylinder, sorry. Empty measuring cylinder. Then that's what M1. That's M1. Then put some liquid in and measure its mass M2 and its volume V. Then use what? Use the formula. Use the formula. Density equal M2 minus M1 divided by what? V, the volume. So we have to find the density of any liquid. We should measure the density. No, we don't measure the density. We measure the mass and the volume. Then we calculate the density. Okay. So there is difference between measurements, something that has a reading. We have an instrument that we can get a number from it, or we can calculate to find out the values. Okay. Like speed. To know the speed, we need to measure the distance and measure the time. Then we calculate the speed. Okay. اكيد في the instrument to measure the speed مباشره speedometer احنا ما لنا دخل فيها هلا. اوكي تمام. next how we can find the density of what? Of a solid object. To find the density of any solid object, we will do the same. We bring the measuring we bring the measuring cylinder, we put half of it of liquid and measure its mass over any balance scale. This is M1 and the volume here it's V1. Then what? Then we put the stone or the object inside it, okay, and measure what? Okay, for example, this is the object inside. Measure the new mass and the new what? Volume. Then what we will say? Density equal difference in the mass. Exactly, bravo, shukran. Divide Ibrahim. Divided by the difference in what? In the volume. Exactly. Tamam. So let's write this down in steps يا إبراهيم. شكرا لك. So we will do the same. Exactly. Bravo يا صبايا وشباب. والله برافو عليكم. So use half fill measuring half fill of water measuring cylinder. خلينا نمسح هاي. Use half full water measuring cylinder. And measure its mass M1 and volume V1. Second step, merge the object in and take the new mass M2 and volume V2. Third step, use the formula اللي هي density equal mass over volume or different in mass over different in volume. So Adham said, sir, why we not just measure the mass? Okay, في ناس مش عم بلحق أنا. Why we not measure the mass by putting it in the balance scale instead of using measuring cylinder? Okay, now how I will put it in the balance scale? Can I put the liquid on balance scale without container that hold it? This container, if instead of using a normal beaker, we can use a measuring cylinder. It will be much easier because I take two goals. بضرب عصفورين بحجر. Okay, I can measure the mass and the volume directly together. Exactly. Fill flask. لا, الفlask doesn't have a scale that's accurate, can measure to the nearest 1 centimeter cube or half centimeter cube. So the flask is not accurate. So it's better to use measuring cylinder. Okay. شكرا لكم. Yes. So cylinder. Yes. Exactly. شكرا. Bravo. تمام. Good. Okay. No problem. بالعكس أنا مبسوط. بالعكس تعلموا وتستفيدوا على أساس بالامتحان تجيبوا العلامة الكاملة إن شاء الله. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay. هلا إحنا هيك اتصلنا تقريبا ساعة ونص according to my watch. إحنا جينا هيك بالضبط على نهاية الحصة. That's perfect. Okay. Make me proud. I wish you all the best. If you have any question, you can stay online and ask me. If you don't have any question, you can you can leave easily or send me on the